What's going on, you badass YouTube people? Sharif here. Hi to friends and family. Anybody who's tuning into this to see the news. I designed a knife.
And let me see what you have. No!
This is, believe it or not, actually not my first knife that I've designed, but it is currently one of the most popular knives. It is doing very well, and I'm very, very proud of that. So I wanted to do a little bit of a background as to why I designed this knife, why I thought knives were something to design in the first place, and really show off my work, for lack of a better way of putting it. I have had a long time sort of love affair with knives, and if you've known me throughout Art Center, you would never have seen me carry a knife because it was very strictly prohibited at school. That part of me had to kind of fade into the background. But in the last few years, I got back into knives, and I've been designing them. So let me show you the Grazioso. Let me tell you a little bit about it, and just maybe convince you that you may need to pick one up. So here's a close-up view of the knife that I designed, the Grazioso. It comes in 3 different flavors. As you can see here, we've got the premium version in titanium, carbon fiber, and premium steel. This guy goes for around $200. Then you have the 2 more budget options flanking it on the top and the bottom. This one is done in copper and G10, which is a fiberglass type material. It has a bit of texturing that makes it very good if you plan to use this in a sort of like wetter environment, maintains a really good grip. And you have the brass and micarta version, which I think competes very closely with the titanium and the carbon fiber for sexiness, like truly sexiness. Now, for those of you who don't know what micarta is, it's a layered material, kind of like carbon fiber or fiberglass, but instead they use canvas and or linen or burlap. And this one in particular uses a nice, really smooth canvas material. The beautiful thing about micarta is that it ages over time. It picks up oils from your hands, and it will have this really sort of like authentic relationship with you over time, where the pattern that develops on it is just, it has to do with your hand and your use. Now, with these two go for around $70. I'll have links down in the description. And the beauty of them is that the copper and the brass will patina over time. They'll take on a new character. And if you don't like that, you want to kind of keep it original looking, you can always polish it up with some brasso to bring out the bright original sort of aesthetics of them. Personally, I'm a big fan of patina. But this guy in the titanium, the carbon fiber, and this is called a bolster lock. Oh, and I should mention it has a titanium pocket clip. This is how I always kind of envisioned the knife when I designed it originally. Something just incredibly beautiful. I mean, look at that shredded carbon fiber, how it just dances in the light. So cool, so sexy, man. Really, I love this thing so much. And yeah, man, I don't know what to say really more than that with these. So, let me tell you a little bit more about them from the tripod view real quick. So now we're in the up top sort of tripod view. And let me tell you a little bit about what went into the design of this knife. Basically, I have been frustrated with the knife industry. I had seen a lot of really nice knives, but they didn't really adhere to some of the design principles that I was taught even during school and practice professionally. And one of them was sort of fitment for everybody's hands. one of the things that we talk about quite a bit in design is ergonomics and hitting like the 95th percentile or what have you, or 90th percentile. We try to hit a design that's as comfortable for as many people as humanly possible. And a lot of designs do little weird features that actually limit that in the knife world. And they claim they're doing it for ergonomics, but I call bullshit. Really, they're just trying to look cool or kind of, I don't know, just impress people with useless stuff. And so I wanted to design a knife that was both sexy, usable, something that you could take easily from the work site to the office to the bar to the cigar lounge, could fit any part of your life without question and be absolutely functional while also being completely comfortable in a range of hands. So, one of the problems, as I mentioned before, or started this section talking about, was hand fitment. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I got some meat hooks on me. I wear an extra large to a double extra large glove. And that creates a big problem for fitment for me for a lot of knives, believe it or not. And so the first goal for this knife was to fit my hand. And you see, boom, I can get a comfortable 4-finger grip on this knife and really feel in control without it being overly large. And that's the feedback that I've gotten, even from a lot of users, that, I mean, this thing just kind of melts into their hand regardless of their hand size. And so I don't understand why that's so difficult within the knife industry, but it's something I'm very proud to tackle in a lot of my designs. Beyond that, I wanted something that just felt really like useful, So I integrated elements like this top texturing, we call it jimping in knives, along with this harpoon tip to give you a reinforced point, for your thumb if you really need to put pressure down. I included this thing, which is called a finger choil. So in case you really need to choke up, if you want to push cut like this, you can really get up onto the blade, or you can use it in conjunction with the harpoon here and get some really fine detailed work. You can choke up on the knife in a pinch grip like this and use this section called the belly to do some fine slicing. You can even lay your finger on top of the harpoon again and just get some really fine control at the tip of the blade. The handle works in the hammer grip, saber grip, pinch grip, reverse grip, any number of grips that you can throw at this knife. It feels incredibly comfortable, and that is by design. And the other thing that I really wanted to integrate into this knife is this subtle curve here. In the knife world, this is known as a recurve. And if you are trying to cut through different types of media, let's say you have a receipt like this one here, the whole idea of this is that it traps material, let me get that more in frame, into that section, and it forces it to cut along this edge. This is particularly useful if you're really cutting through a lot of cardboard and different, kind of tougher medias. This traps it and it allows you to have more control over what you're cutting, believe it or not. So really, my idea was not just even to make something sexy, like I mentioned in the beginning, but also something supremely usable. Now, as far as grinding the blade is concerned, I did this whole like flat grind here and kept the blade stock relatively thin. And you can see that on all the models, right? This is key really to maintain that sliciness. Let's pull that receipt back out, man. This thing just powers through material like it's nothing, like absolutely nothing. And again, completely by design. So really, this was a passion project of mine to do. And ever since then, I've continued to design knives, bring different visions of what I think is good to the market. And I really hope that you guys will see more of my work out there, because I think this is a fascinating area where there's a lot of good stuff, but not a lot of great stuff being done, and not a lot of creative things being done. And for a tool that is so old, you would think that you would see more sort of refined stuff, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being a bit controversial. Maybe I'm being a bit salty and judgmental, but there are very few people that are doing designs that are really way out there, that are still useful every single day. That was the point of the Grazioso, to be beautiful and usable. Absolutely. So that's it, folks. I mean, this is my knife, the Grazioso. It is a wonderful tool. And I want to reiterate that. These are tools, not weapons. There are knives that are designed as weapons. These are tools. These are things that you can use day in, day out, instead of scissors, or instead of the junk kitchen knives you have. You want to slice some cheese, some brie, whatever. That's what these are for. So I hope you like this little look at my designs. I am incredibly proud of them. As I said, they have been selling like hotcakes, so they may or may not be available. As I mentioned, I'll have links down in the description. If you guys own them, please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about them. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'm always down to answer any questions. And if you don't follow me on Instagram at Manganus Steel, I will also have the link down for that in the description. There you can see all of my knife designs, all of the crazy stuff that I've been working on in this industry. And really, I hope it inspires you to see knives potentially in a different way if you're not a knife person. And if you are a knife person, pick one up, man. What are you waiting on?